This is the MHS Pawdcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. I'm Eddie Kalecki.
And I'm Josh Hyman.
Well, we're into October. This is our fourth show of the year, and it's a busy one. Following the school announcements, we'll open with an interview with MHS Principal Bruce Paragallo discussing a wide range of Metuchen High-related topics, including the new science labs and the new student emails on the way later this month. Then Josh and I will focus in on Metuchen sports. It's been a big week for them, specifically some of the seniors making big impacts in their respective fall sports. But first, take it away, Josh, with the school announcements.
Mid-marking period for the first cycle is Monday, October 8th. Next Saturday, October 13th, is a very busy day at MHS. PSAT testing for sophomores and juniors begin at 8 a.m. Test takers are expected to arrive around 7:30 to get organized for the test. Then, at 1, is the Metuchen homecoming football game against Spotswood. And finally, the MHS Homecoming Dance takes place from 7 to 10 p.m. Thursday, October 25th, is the MHS National Honor Society induction ceremony. We congratulate all those who will be inducted. Finally, on October 27th is ACT testing here at Metuchen High School, beginning at 8 a.m. If you plan to take the test, make sure you already have it set up with the school and your guidance counselor. That's all for announcements.
We are exactly 1 month into the school year, and to touch base on all the changes and happenings here at MHS, it's a pleasure to be joined by Principal Mr. Paragallo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to talking with you.
All right, so first, let's hear a little bit about you. When did you become MHS Principal, and what path led you to the title?
I've been here, this is my 10th year as principal. Prior to that, I was here as a vice principal, and then I also served for a short period of time as the acting principal at the high school before I was elevated to the principal's position. Prior to that, I taught for quite a number of years in health and physical education, and ironically, I actually taught here between 1985 and 1989, where I also coached a number of sports. And interestingly, a number of our students that I have in school now, I actually had their parents as students at the time I was here.
So which sports did you coach?
I coached football. I also coached basketball, and then I coached track and field while I was here. And I enjoyed each one of them.
And what is it like on your end seeing students grow up from freshmen to seniors and eventually graduate from MHS?
You know, it's probably one of the greatest joys that I have is to watch their maturation, to watch them come in as freshmen and not kind of be 100% sure of what high school is all about, and not really be 100% sure as to who they are, but just the way they grow, the different programs, the different activities, the different sports that they get involved with, and how all of those things shape them into being the kind of person that they are. If you remember at the beginning of the year and several times during the course of the year, I talk about important characteristics that I think are important for our students. I want them to be independent. I want them to challenge themselves. I want learning to become intrinsic, and I want them to become critical thinkers. And I kind of use that as their pathway so that when they leave here, they can leave here with those characteristics, those tools, because I know that's going to lead to some success in whatever they decide once they get out. So it's certainly very gratifying.
So the school year has been busy for students, but just as busy for the building itself. Talk to us about the new science labs that are being built as an addition to the school. When should those be ready?
Well, we're hopeful that they're going to be ready by August of 2019. If all goes well with weather, material deliveries, and things like that, we should be on target to be able to reach that goal. I'm really excited about the two new science labs. We've wanted a state-of-the-art lab. Our labs are adequate, but I felt that it was important in order to compete with the academies and some of the other schools around to really have a state-of-the-art science facility. Everything will be wireless. There'll be monitors in those labs where you can put your results up on the monitors. from your devices. So it's really going to take us into another dimension in terms of what we're looking to do with science and with the technology that we have in the building. So it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for it to get done.
And one of the biggest changes on the way for the rest of the school year is the implementation of student emails. Why is this being done? How did it come up? And what are the goals of the students having these emails?
Well, we've always talked about wanting better communication with students, and I think that's important no matter what we're doing, that to have different ways in which to communicate, have different opportunities for counselors, teachers, administrators to get a hold of students. I'm also hoping that we won't have as many disruptions during the course of the school day with announcements of calling people out of class. So now we can just email them and ask them to come to the office at such and such a time. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be an awful lot of benefits to it. And again, I think it's kind of the way of where we're going today, not only in education, but also in business. Everybody has their own email, so why not? Why not our students at the high school?
So this weekend's country fair is an ideal way to support Metuchen High School. Tell us about the tradition of having class-by-class booths at the fair.
Yeah, this is always a fun weekend. This is really one of the events that I really enjoy. And our different classes do a phenomenal job with their different booths, the time that they put in, and just the camaraderie and the spirit that it generates for the school, for the class. Their excitement, in getting the community involved with their different booths and what they're trying to promote. It's a shining star for the high school, and we're looking forward to a really, really good turnout. We have a couple of other booths that'll be there. I know Mr. Robbins Breaking the Chain is always there. Our PTO will be there, and I think our project graduation will be there as well. So we'll be well represented at the country fair. But again, it's another great opportunity for the community to see all the great things that are happening at the high school, and we have a lot of good things happening here.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Mr. Paragallo, thank you for joining us here on the MHS Podcast.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much.
All right, when we come back, we'll be talking about MHS Sports. I'm Eddie Kalegi.
And I'm Josh Hyman.
And this is the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. The MHS Podcast is also sponsored by Allstate Insurance at 63 Pearl Street in Metuchen. Allstate, are you in good hands? Having trouble seeing the board in class? Do you need safety glasses for your school sport? If you answered yes to either of these questions, head over to Optique Unique, the eyeglass store at 406 Main Street in Metuchen. Optique Unique does it all. Not only do they offer eyewear for all ages, they also sell sports-specific safety glasses for kids and adults. Call them at 732-321-2020. That's 732-321-2020, or visit OptiqueUnique.com. Do you want to build character, build confidence, or even build yourself? All that and more can be accomplished at the Black Belt Institute at 23 New Street, right here in Metuchen. Students of all ages have been able to learn respect, discipline, fitness, and self-defense from their experienced instructors for over 20 years. Whether you're an adult looking for stress reduction or know someone young who has interest in Taekwondo, the Black Belt Institute is the place to go. The Institute takes a fun approach at teaching the rules of self-defense, instilling in their students an I-can-do-it attitude. Interested in taking a class? Call them at 732-205-9797 or visit their website at blackbeltinst.com. Once again, that's 732-205-9797 or blackbeltinst.com. The Black Belt Institute, Metuchen's leader in martial arts and fitness. The MHS Podcast is proudly sponsored by Reflections on Main Salon at 176 Main Street in Metuchen. The salon offers hair design, nail, waxing, and makeup services for all ages. They are committed to providing the best customer service in the industry, offering a tranquil environment with environmentally friendly products and top brand names. Call them at 732-205-9881 or visit their website at reflectionsonmain.nj.com. Reflections on Main, Middlesex County's premier full-service beauty salon.
Welcome back to the MHS Pawdcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School. I'm Josh Hyman.
And I'm Eddie Kalegi.
With the fall sports season in full swing, students of all ages have been impactful on the field, court, or track for their respective teams. It's been a tough season for the football team, currently sitting at 0-3, but they do have 4 consecutive games coming up against Blue Division opponents, 3 of which are at home. Can we expect a turnaround?
Well, you're right. It has been tough. They've been outscored 100-7 so far this season, but they've got some opportunities in October. They start on the road against Bishop R, a team that last year for the homecoming game here, they played tough and only lost 18-6, and they had a really good defensive stand in that game. And then they had 3 consecutive home games. They started against Spotswood, then South River, and Middlesex to close out the October campaign. If any of those games can be considered winnable, it has to be the Spotswood game. They're a team who has a couple bad losses this season. They lost to Denellen 44-20. Metuchen also had a bad loss to Denellen this season. Anyway, Will Horanich has had a solid season at quarterback, and the offensive and defensive lines, although depleted by injury, have played hard. If the team can stay healthy, maybe they can steal a win.
So, after a rough stretch a few weeks ago, the girls' soccer team is back to their dominating selves, and they have quite the performance on senior night. Who led this attack?
Well, the girls' soccer team is currently 6-5. They had got 1 for their first 5 games, then they won a rough stretch, but now they're back on track. Specifically senior night on Monday, Maya Stolarski scored 3 goals in the win, and she became the MHS all-time scoring leader with 123 points. Congrats to her. On the other end of the field, you had fellow senior captain Juliana Mullen continuing her success in goal. She recorded the shutout. The seniors are clearly carrying this team, and back-to-back wins will surely help their cause.
Do you think the loss of the seniors next year will really hurt this team, or do you think they'll be able to find talent in the junior and sophomore classes?
They have good sophomores and juniors who have been scoring. You've got Sophie Lipschitz, who's going to be a senior next year, and she had a game-winning goal a few weeks ago. But definitely, when you talk about Maya Stolarski, who is the all-time scoring leader on the team, Juliana Mullen, who's been a staple in goal for this team for 4 years, and their other captain, Natalie, too, it's definitely going to hurt this team. I think they're going to have it more difficult than some other teams, but I still think the overall talent that they have in the underclassmen, I think they'll be able to hang on, but it's definitely not going to be as good as it is this year.
So this past weekend was a successful one for the boys and girls cross-country teams. What records were set and who were the stand-up performers?
Well, it was a big weekend, so both the boys and girls cross-country teams, they had great performances. You got to start with the boys at the Greystone Invitational. They earned a total of 9 medals. The junior varsity team won 2nd overall, but stealing the spotlight was senior Eddie Maleg. He ran a 16:41 and won the varsity B race, leading to his nomination for Athlete of the Week. And for the girls, they had just as amazing of a performance at the Stewart Memorial Meet. They won the varsity B event with a school record average time of 19:36. So a school record. And then it was also the first time ever that 4 MHS girls got under 20 minutes in the event. So just talking about some of the records being set at Metuchen High School this week, you had Maya Stolarski becoming the all-time scorer for soccer, and then you've got the girls cross-country team getting 4 runners under 20 minutes for the first time in school history. And it wasn't just all the seniors dominating for them. It was the contribution that came from all ages. You had freshman Caroline Schlief, who was also nominated for Central Jersey Athlete of the Week. She was the fastest out of all of them. And then, of course, you had the seniors Nina Suss and Camille Lucier, who also ran under 20 minutes. Overall, the performance from both these teams has been fun to watch, and this is very promising if there are more key meets coming up later this month, and if they can perform in these, you can just imagine how they'll do in the even bigger meets that follow in October and November.
Yeah, and do you think, for both the cross-country teams actually, in terms of graduating seniors, do you think they're in a better position than, say, the girls' soccer team in terms of talent in the lower classes?
Definitely, because, well, let's start with the boys. Obviously, you have Eddie Maleg, who's leading the charge, but there are a lot of underclassmen who have been very impressive for the boys. It's just both sophomore, freshman, junior. There's so many names out there that Coach Holland can be excited about for the future. As for the girls' cross-country team, I just mentioned it. Caroline Schlief was the fastest girl in that meet. She beat out the seniors, and having a freshman doing that at such a young age, that shows what the future holds for this team. So definitely answering your question, they are in a much better spot than, say, the girls or the boys soccer team with departing seniors.
So what else has happened in MHS sports? Anything else?
All right, well, let's start with the boys soccer team. They're in the midst of a pretty solid campaign. They most recently bested South Plainfield 2-1. They had goals from Michael Siren and Thomas Cortez. Junior Luke Rivera added 2 assists in that one. They currently stand 7-4-1. They've got a road contest with Carteret coming up on the horizon. And while the seniors have been key to their success, you can't overlook sophomore Justin Wetnick. He's a midfielder, a defenseman, and he was most recently nominated for Best Sophomore Player in New Jersey. So once again, a lot of Metuchen players over the past week have been receiving awards and stuff, which is why we had to do a segment about this. And finally, the Metuchen field hockey team. Once again, they're seeming virtually unbeatable. They earned a 3-0 win over South Plainfield, and South Plainfield is a rival to them because that's the team they beat last year to win the GMC title. They had Ariel Benderly, Sarah Jenny, and Emily Glutz each netting goals, and then Cameron Chaudhry again, yet another shutout. We were talking about her on a show a couple weeks ago and how she had 8 shutouts in 20 games last season. She is a senior though, so it's going to be tough replacing her, but at least for the here and now, this team seems like they can surely be GMC champs once again. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Metuchen High School Podcast. We hope you enjoyed. A thank you to Miss Wisniewski, our club advisor, and Miss Glade for providing the space, and our guest, Mr. Paragallo. I'm Eddie Kalegi.
And I'm Josh Hyman.
And this is the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS.